This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena. And folks, we are on August the 8th, 2021. And here in Fredericton, New Brunswick, knock on wood, we're COVID free right now. No more mask. Hopefully, we can stay that way and not have to deal with this hurdle again. But folks, we're not here to talk about COVID. We're here to celebrate the 5-year anniversary of a film of an independent film that I've interviewed 3 guests from prior, and I'm about to have a 4th on today. The film is The Id, and it stars Amanda Wyss and Patrick Douglas Perdue, and directed by Tommy Hudson. But it also features my guest today. Folks, I give you the very, very funny Malcolm Matthews. How do you do, Malcolm?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, I don't know how many people are celebrating the 5-year anniversary of this, but when I do my show, I look through, especially movies I own, what's celebrating anniversaries, and this one had one, and I'm like, you know what, I gotta talk about this film and hopefully help it find more of an audience, because I really enjoyed it, and gotta admit, I'm one of those many people who had a mad crush on Amanda Wyss, and who can blame me?
Rightfully so. Yes.
Yeah. So so I had her and Tommy both on a double phone call on when I was at the station. Our station's still not open here, you know, despite the fact I've been going back to the movie theater since July 2020.
Oh wow. Yeah, we're still wearing masks here in LA.
Yeah, it's sad when Amanda has to wear a mask. She's got such a beautiful face to show off, you know.
Cover up all that beauty, yes.
Yeah, but I got creative.
But
with
for me, it can be a benefit.
For me, well, you know what? I could say the same thing, but I got creative with it. You see, I got a Friday the 13th Jason one. I got a Blues Brothers one. I got a Big Lebowski one, and I got an original John Carpenter's Halloween one.
Oh wow.
So I was able to make a conversation piece out of them when I went around.
You've got quite a wardrobe there.
Yeah, well, I figure, you know, if we have to wear these, I might as well have some fun with it, you know? Yeah. Especially my Blues Brothers one, because I work as a cleaner. I was an essential worker through this whole mess, and I go into these buildings to clean, and especially my Blues Brothers one, people would stop me, and there'd be a conversation about the Blues Brothers, because I've had 3 of the band on here, you know, so yeah, that'd be a conversation piece. But I can't see you, but you could see me, so you could see this. I don't know how many signatures I got on this. Now, I was not at Dark Delicacies when this was being signed.
I think that's me in the bottom right. Is it 2 M's? My signature is usually 2 M's.
That right there?
No.
Just a sec, I'll use my flashlight on this because I don't have ring lights.
No, maybe that's not me. I don't know.
I don't know. That's okay. I think
if I know we were do this, I would have found my copy, and then I could have told you. Because
I think you guys had a lot of doctors on set, because these are a lot of doctor signatures.
Well, my father was a doctor, so.
Well, that explains it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can make out Amanda's signature, so obviously she's not in the medical profession.
No, she's a true artist.
Yeah, and somebody who starts with a K, I can make out a little bit here on the bottom. And if I can make out a K, then obviously that person's only part practitioner in the medical field.
Just dabbles.
Just dabbles a little bit, you know. But I mean, I don't even know where Tommy Watson's name is on this thing. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I think the medical staff got together and decided, let's make a movie.
Well, we're actors. We're not calligraphers.
You don't have patience?
Oh, of course, but I've never had much patience for signatures.
No, I mean patience in terms of people that come in to get their checkups.
Oh, got you. Okay. I've played a doctor on TV.
Yeah, that's a start.
Yes.
So you haven't been asked to perform surgery on somebody yet?
No. Thankfully, no. Thankfully for everyone.
Yeah, so I was happy to get this, and yeah, I watched it last night in preparation, because I hadn't watched it in a while, and I really enjoyed it. It was nice going back through this, and watching this, and
Yeah, it's a great film.
yeah, I
Very,
truly,
very, very powerful film.
absolutely. Although poor you, Amanda is expecting somebody else at the door and you show up. You got to be hanging your head at that.
Well, she surprised me a little bit also wearing the prom dress. So it was kind of a two-way street.
Oh, jeepers. Amanda could probably wear a sackcloth and look good.
That's true. I'm not saying she looked bad. No, she looked great as always. But
Mm-hmm.
that was that was a plot point. The her wearing the prom dress.
Yeah, but of course, for anybody who hasn't seen the id, Amanda plays somebody who never ever got away from the house, mentally abused by her wheelchair bound father, played by the awesome Patrick Douglas Padudu.
Oh yeah,
And
he's amazing as well. Yes.
yeah, oh boy, I like him. Yep. And of course, he's nothing like that character. I tell you, I had a great chat with him. And of course, she is just being mentally abused, and she gets this phone call saying that her high school graduation anniversary is coming up, and of course, she keeps reflecting back at the guy that got away, so to speak. And of course, she has all these fantasies. She gets all this preparation, and then you show up with your wife.
Yeah.
And of course, you get the kind of reaction that I usually get myself.
Yeah, she was not happy that that I had brought the wife along.
No, no. Yeah.
She made that very clear. She was quite rude to her. I mean, her character. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about getting the part in the id. Let's talk about you in this movie. Did you
Okay.
go in for an audition?
Yes, I did. And I was in preparation for this this conversation. I went back and looked at my calendar and my email and notes, and I had booked this role just 1 month after I began acting. I began acting without having any previous experience or training, just kind of out of the blue one day because I had been worked in a in the corporate world professionally. That's been my career up until that point. But I'd always had these creative desires and inclinations, and I'd always made notes of creative things I'd like to try, like writing or painting or sculpting, and acting was on there as well. But I never put too much consideration into it, especially because especially the acting, because even though I found it very intriguing, I had been an introvert most of my life. I'm very, very shy. In fact, in high school growing up, I remember I was voted most likely to smile because usually when the teacher would call me in class, I'd be so painfully shy that I couldn't even respond verbally. I would just sheepishly smile. So the thought of acting, even though it sounded so intriguing and interesting and exciting, it also terrified me. But I had an opportunity where I just finished a work project, and I was looking for something different to try. And I finally decided, okay, I'm going to try something creative. So what did I do? Oh, I signed up for a couple creative classes at the community college, a painting class, a sculpting class, a guitar class, and an acting class. They were very, very abbreviated. So there wasn't really any teaching going on. It was more just feedback. And except for the guitar, I learned something in the guitar. But they all went very well. I remember my first painting I did, again, was no instruction. The teacher said, try paint something. So I did it, and I got really great feedback, and I felt like I'd been doing it a long time. Same with the sculpting. The sculpture teacher thought I'd been sculpting a long time. And the same with the acting. That was the scariest one for me because of my inhibitedness. But I remember the teacher giving us assignment, and I did it and got really good feedback. And then also within that same week, I was asking various friends if they had any thoughts about what I should try creatively. And several different unrelated people all suggested, hey, maybe you might want to try acting. I think you might be good in it. You might find it interesting. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. So I had a friend who was a photographer. I asked him to take some headshots of me. And then I found that there's various websites where there are casting notices, and I created profiles on each of them. And then I started submitting myself. And the very first week, I managed to get an audition every day that first week, which was exciting, but also extremely terrifying. I went to each audition, and I was literally shaking in my shoes and sweating profusely. But I managed to work through the fears enough that I was cast in, I think, 3 of those roles the first week. And
Wow.
one of them got me what's called Taft-Hartley into SAG, the Actors Union. That's a method of getting into the union. It usually takes a long time, or it can take a very, very long time. But for me, it was a pretty quick process. And so then from there, I just kept submitting myself and getting more comfortable with it. And I was getting lots of auditions every week, and those that transferred to many bookings. In fact, my very first year acting, I stopped counting when I hit 100 projects. And I was just doing everything, almost everything within reason. But yeah, when I got the audition for the ID, I went back and looked at my notes. I'd only been acting 1 month, and I got the audition the day before, and I had been shooting something that day before as well. So I didn't have any time to prepare for it. I had several other auditions that same day. So I remember I was looking at the sides, which are the script pages for the scene that you're going to audition for. I was looking at the sides for the first time as I was driving to the audition, which I was late for because of the other auditions. And the producer, Daniel, and the writer, Tommy, were just packing up because I was their last audition of the day. But they were kind enough to unpack and let me audition. And I did so. It was very cold, as very cold reading, as we say in the industry, because I did not have time to prepare for it. But it went very well. They both were laughing, and it was fun. And then I think it was 3 days later, I received an offer for the role, which I accepted, and that's how I got it.
Wow. Yeah, and you were very good in the movie, and you
Thank you
show
very
up.
much.
Oh yeah. Well, I watched last night, and you show up there with your wife, and again, I'll say this. If I was on a blind date, I'd get the same reaction out of Amanda as Amanda gave you.
Yes, it
such
was very
disappointment.
unexpected. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, she had to realize that people change, although to be frank, there's nothing wrong with you, to be honest, so but nonetheless, I think she had this image of I'm trying to think of the actor's name she had in the fantasy here. Just a second, I'll bring that up.
Oh yeah, there was a flashback
Yeah, Brett
fantasy
Witt.
sequence.
Brett
Yeah,
Witt.
that was
Fantasy Ted. You were just regular Ted.
yes. So she'd done a lot of embellishing in her mind, and so when I showed up, she was disappointed, and then when my wife was accompanying me, it was a double disappointment. So
You gotta stop
yeah,
disappointing people, man.
well, I was just following the script. I was just doing what I'm told.
Well, I've been familiar with Amanda Wiz for since the 80s, I would have been 10 years old when Fast Times at Ridgemont High came out, and she was stunning in that. And of course, she became really famous for A Nightmare on Elm Street, doing some what I call very, very creative yoga throughout a bedroom.
Yes, yeah.
And of course, Better Off Dead, where poor John Cusack has to deal with being rejected by her, and she was in various other projects. And
Yeah, she's an amazing, very talented actress.
yeah, so I was glad to get her on here for this, and she was very hard to get on the show. But when I found out about this project, I thought if I get Tommy Hudson, maybe I could get them both together. And so he was calling me out of Los Angeles, and he's hooking her up from New York. I think she was um, doing a project down there. So I was happy to get them both. And so, yeah, I've tried to get Amanda since, but Amanda is very, very difficult to get hold of. But nonetheless,
I imagine she's very busy. She's so talented.
yeah, well, you know what? She needs to be talented enough to put on a face that says, "Oh, you're the same as I remember you."
Well, that's just a credit to her acting. She was again following the script. We we as actors, we do what we're told, unless we're improving. But in that case, we were following the script because that's a very important plot point and a little kind of levity. My whole role was to provide some somewhat comedic levity to the abundance of tension and that was pervasive through the rest of the film.
It got very lighthearted whenever you showed up because it was in dark places through much of the movie. So we needed your timing.
It was fun for me to do that.
Talk about working with Amanda.
Oh, she's awesome. As you know, extremely talented. Uh, that was the first time I had met her, and we, when I got to set that morning, we began shooting our scenes pretty quickly. So it was a very easy process working with her, and yeah, I don't think we had to do more than one take of any scene. Of course, there's different camera angles, but it all flowed so well. I think we just did one take of each scene. So it was very easy.
That house is interesting. I love the layout of that house and how it was all dressed up. Do you have any memories of being in there?
Yes, I have some memories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember it was. I think they had intentionally looked for a house that was not the best well kept to have that character of the home portrayed in regards to her emotional stability and how it had broken down under the very domineering thumb of her father. And then I believe they also the set dressing distressed it even more.
Yeah. And of course, Patrick Douglas Padudu played in her father. I had the pleasure of having him on here um, after I received this in the mail. And what a cool guy he is, you know? And of course,
Yeah,
playing,
I unfortunately did not get to work with him. We were not in any scenes together. I would have loved to, because when I saw the film, in fact, I met him for the first time at uh, the screening of the film at the film festival where won an award,
mhm.
and I was blown away by his acting. He is an incredible actor as well.
He was great to talk to as well. He actually told me, I remember I got the interview up on my YouTube, but he um, he told me that the scene where he flips mashed potatoes at Amanda,
Mhm.
he said that was totally improvised.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Uh,
so
well,
I
good
thought
for
that
him.
I thought that was kind of cool. It's interesting when you find out things like that, stuff that maybe wasn't in the script that the director keeps in because it just works.
Yeah,
And Amanda went with it, you know?
yeah. I love improv myself, and I've done a lot since then. But sometimes some of the best scenes in a film can be improv.
Yeah.
Like trying to think of a story. Oh, Matt Damon in um,
Good Will Hunting?
no, in
No?
the war film. I'm forgetting the title, but there's
Oh,
this.
Saving Private Ryan.
Yes, and there's a
Yeah.
scene where he is recalling. Oh, I forget. There's some story he tells. I forget, but that was all. I recall reading that it was all improvised, and it was one of the best parts of the film.
Oh, wow. Okay. I did not know that. But of course, Patrick, of course, is uh, out of sight, out of mind whenever your character shows up. I'm trying to find the actress here.
But so I believe I'm called the storyline. He is well, he's she tells us that he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
But then what prompts us to leave is that we hear him coughing. So we realize that she's lying. And I believe that maybe just before she, well, I don't want to give away any secrets for anyone who hasn't seen it, before she's done something to help him move on.
I'm trying to think the name of the woman that played your wife. Was that Karen?
That sounds right. Yeah, that sounds
Karen
correct.
Lavo. She played a character named Dana, right?
Yes, that sounds correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, then she's the other one that does not she's not a doctor because her name her signature's on here. I recognize her. So she's not a doctor either.
No, apparently not. Well, good
No,
for her.
she's not in the practice. She was really good. Of course, she spots the bird cage that does not have a living bird in it.
Yes.
Kind of a dead giveaway, no pun intended. If there's something wrong there.
Yeah,
Talk
another
about
little disturbing tidbit of the film.
Yeah, talk about working with her.
Oh, she was great as well. Uh, again, I met her for the first time on set,
Hmm.
and our first scene was it was shot in order of as you see it. Well, except for the phone calls. The phone calls we did later. Um, I believe after she actually left set. But our first scene was at the beginning of the shoot that day was us at the front door. So we kind of jumped, all three of us jumped right into it. And again, it was very, very easy. They were both very comfortable to work with, both great actors. So yeah, it was pretty uneventful as far as that. Again, I think everything was one take and
Hmm.
flowed very well.
Yep. And of course, another wheel to this, of course, is I'm gonna mispronounce her name. Jane, is it Jamie? Jamie Joseph? Is Trisha?
Now, I didn't have any scenes with her either.
No,
She
no, when
doesn't.
it, don't you guys see her when you go out to when you guys
Oh,
leave?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. You're correct. As we're leaving, she's approaching. Yes, so we have a little conversation outside at the car. Yeah. Okay, you're correct.
I've never seen Jamie spelt like that. Jamye. How creative.
Yeah, that is unique.
Okay, never seen that spelled like that before. Yeah, she has her suspicions over the whole thing.
Yes, rightfully
Yep,
so.
yep.
Her instincts are correct. Something's not right
Hmm.
in that house.
And of course, Tommy Hudson, who had done, of course, the Nightmare on Elm Street documentary, is the director behind this. And
Yeah,
talk,
amazing
ab-
guy.
yeah, talk about working with him as a director.
Oh, it was so much fun. And again, very, very easy. He's a wonderful person to work with, very giving and allowing. And um, I'm trying to think if there were any directional feedback I got. It was just maybe one or two notes. But for the most part, it was just a really, really super easy process. And he's just has a great personality, very lighthearted, uh, wonderful guy to work with. It was really the overall experience was 100% positive for me. I enjoyed every moment of it.
Yeah. Okay. This is the film I'm familiar with you with. Before I come on this interview, I looked at your comedy reel. I
Okay.
got to talk about some stuff on that because I got to say, I got to see more of your comedy. You have one where you were working in an office being a complete dick, and I was reminded so much of Office Space or Horrible Bosses.
Yes, it was reminiscent of that. Yes.
What was that role and what was that show?
Let's see. The role was I was an asshole boss. So you got that pretty well
Oh,
summarized.
you were great,
Thank you.
especially the line about dripping balls or whatever. You were just
Yes.
laying into this poor chap.
Yes, I was not kind to him. It was the character was playing my assistant, and he was asking for something. I don't know, if it was a day off or time off, and I basically just really verbally abused him. Oh, I know, it was regarding what he was wearing. He was dressed a little too casual for my taste, and I told him he could do so when he's worth as much as the sweat that trips off of my testicles.
Yeah. Oh boy. Did you improvise those lines? Because I know you do a lot of comedy, so I'm thinking you dabble a lot in that.
I did improvise some in that role. I think
Hmm.
for that one little piece though, it was because it was so well written. I
Hmm.
think I did that verbatim, but I did improvise some other parts like I said I fire him, and then as he's leaving I say namaste. That I remember I improv. And there were some other parts which I'm not recalling.
And another clip they had on there. I don't know what this was off of, but I got to know more about it. Where you're dressed as, looks like you're dressed as a cowboy, and you're with this
Oh.
other guy, and you put your mom in an elevator, and you're like, "There, we're gonna get a new mom. We're gonna get a new mom." And this, when the elevator doors open, this old woman comes out with a cane and whatnot. And you guys are just very disappointed.
Yeah, so the premise of that was we're a family from the sticks, not very well cultured with big city life.
Uh huh.
And I talk like this, and we visit the city one day, and we see an elevator for the first time in our lives, and we're astonished, and we see a so what happens? Oh, we see an old woman go in and then close, the doors close, and then the doors open, and out comes a beautiful woman. So my thought is, my character is, oh wait, this is a magical transformation device. So then I immediately call for my wife to jump into the magic device so she can be transformed. But unfortunately, she goes up and then the elevator comes down, and it's a much elderly woman who comes out. So I'm disappointed.
I
Yeah, I'm very excited. We're gonna get in a new mall, get in a new mall.
I gotta
And that
say,
was all improvised, by the way. That I totally improvised. At least 50% of that script I improvised, I recall.
what was that part of?
Oh, it was a little comedic short. I don't recall the name of it.
Oh my good. Well, I gotta say, I cracked up watching that, and I really enjoyed it, and I was like, because I mainly just know you from this, but I gotta say, I was even more impressed with just that little bit you did in that, because I was like, I love seeing actors, because you see a lot of actors get typecast. But seeing you in this and then seeing you play the horrible boss or the guy at the elevator, the hick at the elevator, that shows that you got a tremendous stretch as a performer.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but no, that is true. It shows a lot of range on your part.
Thank you. I'm very grateful that I have luckily been cast in a wide variety of roles, comedic and dramatic. If you watch my dramatic reel, you'll see I play some very dark characters there, or some emotional characters.
Hmm.
So I'm grateful that I haven't been typecast thus far.
Yeah, but I felt so bad for you in the id because the fantasy Ted got to kiss Amanda. You didn't get to do that.
Well, I was
I would
married.
have
That would not be appropriate, Greg. I was
I
a
I
married
would
man,
I would have hung my
happily
head.
married.
I would have demanded that Tommy Hudson change that script. I was like, why should fantasy Ted get to do all the fun stuff? Darn it, even the cop that comes in there, even he does.
Oh yes, right.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
I know I'm not the greatest thing to look at. I'm talking about me here, but I'm like, come on. The whole thing about movies is to stretch the imagination so we can pretend. I know it would be a stretch for Amanda Wist to be into a guy like me.
Well, maybe you should start taking some acting classes and try to get booked with her in a project.
I could be like John Candy and what was that? What Delirious or whatever it was he was in there, where he's writing his own stuff. Well, oh, it works for Woody Allen.
Well, he's the writer director, so he gets to, he gets to write his own scenes, his own material. So he can place himself with whoever he wants.
Geez, give me some.
So maybe you can finance a film. You can write a script or have someone write something for you and offer Amanda a role, and who knows?
Yeah, but you know what? My acting and her acting are totally different. You see, I would make Tommy Wiseau look like Laurence Olivier.
Well, I don't know what to say. You may just have to give up on that hope.
Oh well. Look, I love this. Look at all the signatures on this thing. When I got this thing, I could not believe there's even one here on the back.
Mhm.
Another doctor.
Yes.
Oh, so I don't know whose all names are on this, but and you say your name's on there. Patrick's name is probably on here. Lord knows where it is.
Yeah, I think we were all there that day. I remember we were all lined up at the big long table. We were they were being passed down one after another. We each signed them in order. Uh, I think he was there.
Well, you know what? I wasn't there. I just know I made the coordinations with Tommy Hudson on this, and I had never heard of dark delicacies until this release. And now I'm hearing about it a lot.
I wasn't familiar with it either.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems to be the place to go for all things horror related.
Yeah. So I'm hearing, in fact, I even heard about I actually am a co-producer on a few film projects through Indiegogo, and including the latest Friday the 13th spin-off film, 13 Fanboy. But
Oh wow, that's great.
I'm no actor, but I do cameo in 9 James Balsamo movies, and I'm able to do that because my bad acting does not hurt the tone of his movies, because his movies are very trauma-like, so I can kind of get away with being bad,
Okay.
you know. But he just had a film called It Wants Blood, which all I had to do was shoot 2 scenes on my phone and send it to him. So
Oh wow.
I didn't even have to leave here. And they're spliced into scenes being watched on television by Eric Roberts. So I'm in scenes with Eric Roberts, and I didn't even have to leave this town, you know. But it played
Uh,
at the Chinese theater last week.
in Hollywood, the man's.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm like,
What's the title again?
It Wants Blood.
It Wants Blood. Okay, I'll have to look out for that.
Well, apparently they had a signing at Dark Delicacies. Of course, I couldn't be there, but I said to James, I said, could I get a Blu-ray of this? And you get people, everybody shows. I know Brink Stevens was there. I had to get her to sign it. But so he was there, and I know the owner is a fellow that's got long gray hair, you know, and I see
I
pictures.
remember the owner was a really nice guy. There were a couple people there, I think, associated with the management, and they were all very, very kind.
Yeah, but I hear a lot about this place, and I'm like, wow. So so I know I got an It Wants Blood Blu-ray coming to me, you know, but that was my introduction to dark delicacies. I'm screwing that name up.
Mm-hmm.
Was with the id, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me
So
too as well.
yeah, so talk about the experience of being there and signing these.
Oh, it was just a fun day. I don't remember how long we were there, but yeah, they had set up a really long series of tables, so we were all lined up. I think on my IMDb page, I have a photo from it. Um, and yeah, we had, there was a stack of the Blu-rays at one end of the table, and everyone just passed them down one after another, and we each took a turn signing them. And then there were some other people there who were asking for signatures on other items as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we answered some questions. There was some media there, and we were asked questions about the production. We answered those.
There are obviously a lot of doctors there.
Yes, yes.
I'm not going to let that go.
Yes. So if anyone required any medical attention that day, they were well covered.
They were well covered. Well, I'm glad to see you have your medical license.
Well, there's many practitioners who are not licensed, unfortunately.
I think this little M here, double M here, I think might be you.
Oh yeah, a double M should be me. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you told me that, but that still does not take away the fact that you're a doctor, because until you told me that, I would not have known.
Yeah, I often can't read my own signature, but it's I know it's just one of these necessities in life. So you have to do it, but it's not something I put a lot of effort into.
Well, what I wanted to move on with is I wanted to talk about some of your other projects. Now, I'm not familiar with a lot of these, but I do want you to promote them on here. So not only can you introduce them to me, but anybody else that listens to this, you know, because my channel is slowly but starting to rapidly grow here. And I want people to discover this film, but I want them to discover more about you, especially after watching your comic reel. I kind of want to know more myself.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, if anyone's interested, they can visit my website, which pretty
Hmm.
much has all my information, all my links there. And that's malcolm-matthews.com. So MALCOLM hyphen MATTHEWS.com. And let's see, as far as upcoming projects, I have several things in the works. One of the things I'm most excited about is I'm going to be working on a number of projects with a production company called Rocket Pig, which is a very cute. I love the name.
I love that.
And you should see that if you go to the website, and let me give you that. You can see their emblem, which is really, really, really cute. It's a pig on a rocket, as you might expect, and it's kind of a play on the phrase "if pigs could fly," but anything's possible. If you can dream it, you can be it. So they have several films in the works. They've just released their first film. They're about to release a couple other films, and they have several others in the works that I'm going to be a part of. So I'm excited about that. Again, that's Rocket Pig. Their website is ROKITPIG.com. So it's not
Okay.
the conventional spelling of rocket.
Okay.
There's no C, and instead of an E, there's an I.
Okay. I would have never have caught that. Thank goodness you told me.
So yeah, I'm excited about that, and I'm every week is different. I had taken a bit of a break actually from acting to work on a non-acting project, from something related to my previous experience in the corporate world. A friend of mine asked me to help start up a company, so that required a lot of my time and attention. So I had to step away to do that, and I actually just finished that just a couple weeks ago. Actually, when I saw your message and responded to you, which was a reason for the delay, because I had not been.
I'm that's an open invitation, so I would have taken you whenever you were ready.
Well, that's the reason. So I had taken a bit of a hiatus from the acting to work on this other project, but now I'm back in full throttle, and I have received a lot of auditions the last couple of weeks, and already booked 3 projects, small projects, nothing to really too exciting, some little commercial projects, but it's the feature films with Rocket Pig that I'm most excited about that are coming up.
I just have this image of a pig on the rocket, like kind of like Slim Pickens and Dr. Strangelove waving the cowboy hat.
Yes. Well, take a look at their website. You'll like it. It's a really fun little logo they have.
Are you guys going to get Amanda in a Rocket Pig production?
That is a great idea.
That's a great
That's a
idea.
very good idea. Yeah. I will have to discuss that with the producers there. That's an excellent idea.
You
And to
see,
have Tommy direct it would be amazing as well.
with a title like Rocket Pig, I think you could. I think that like jumps out at people. You
Oh
might
yeah,
be.
it's memorable.
So, how have you been handling the pandemic? That is the question of the ages. We got the jump on it here in New Brunswick. I'm 4 hours ahead of you, so we got the jump on it, and we never had a death until somebody from a doctor, actually from Campbellton, had left the province and come back, and fortunately, one of his patients died from it because he brought it
Oh
back.
no, that's horrible.
Yeah. I work as a cleaner, so that's what I do for money. So I worked through this whole thing, and I usually work back shifts, so I'm never working around people. But we just got in the clear on July 31st here in 2021. So
That's fantastic.
well,
Congratulations to you guys.
I was actually at the mall. I went and saw the Suicide Squad yesterday, And I had forgot my mask home, and I was a little nervous. And I went in the mall, and I'd say 75% of the people weren't wearing masks. So
Oh,
I'm kind
wow.
of, yeah, and I'm kind of like, maybe people just want to get back to normal, you know?
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
yeah, I look forward to the day where I don't have to wear that darn mask. Yeah, I was I shot a project last week, and
Hmm.
I got a call. I was wearing the mask every moment I wasn't on set, but when I was on set, obviously I had to take the mask off. And I got a call. Actually, this was 2 weeks ago, and I got a call a couple of days later from the producer telling me that one of the two leads in the project had tested positive for COVID, which was horrifying to hear. But luckily, he's okay. He just his only symptoms were just some fatigue. But I of course immediately went and got tested, and have been tested several times. I'm in the clear. But that was had a slight, not scare, I'd say, just a little concern, just momentarily. But we in here, LA, everyone is wearing the masks. There was a uh, brief moment a few weeks ago when I was at the gym, and I noticed that a lot of people were not wearing masks. But when I was at the gym yesterday, everyone was wearing masks again. I think because of this second strain of it that has everyone alarmed. So everyone's being much more careful once again, thankfully.
Are you fully vaccinated? Well, the reason I ask is because here's a funny story I have about that. And you don't have to tell me whether you're vaccinated. I'm just leading to a funny story on my end
Go ahead. I'm curious to hear.
because I got the first vaccine. That's fine. But I got worried about the second one because I was talking to a lot of my guests on here who had said they experienced, headaches, sweats,
Hmm.
blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I work as a cleaner. I don't get paid when I don't work. So I've never missed a day of work. And I'm also one of these guys that my supervisor heavily relies on. Because she said to me, she said, I'm the only one that doesn't bitch when she calls me. So she calls me a lot. And anyway, I went and got my second shot. And it's funny because that same day I had to go buy a new car because my previous car stalled on a busy street going downhill.
Oh no.
And yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Did
Um,
you did you
I managed to get pulled into a parking lot. I was lucky,
okay.
but the mechanic can't figure out what's wrong with it, can't get it started. Put a new fuel pump in, put new this, new that, can't get it started. So I was like, I guess it's time for me to get a new car. So I that same day I got my second shot, I had to go to the dealership, get a new car. And then I went to work, and I worked through it. I had a little bit of a sore arm, but I worked through it. But
Okay.
here's where I had some fun. Is the mom of one of my guests was on Facebook and said, because I announced that I got my second shot, and she congratulated me, and her son's part of a band that I interviewed. And she said that her son and his girlfriend just got the shot. Well, her son made the mistake of going on Facebook and saying, the second shot really wiped us out.
Hmm.
I must have left them several voice messages ribbing them about the fact that I was at work and I'm
Oh.
strong. And I just ribbed, and they got a kick out of it. They said they had a big laugh out of listening to me laugh at their condition, but they said they enjoyed listening. I must have sent them like 12 ribbing voicemails, like he had missed some time from work because of this, and I compared it to David Naughton in American Werewolf in London. I said it was almost like COVID for him. But did he miss work the next day? No.
What? I'm trying to remember this.
Where he
What happened?
when he turns into the werewolf and he's in agony, and I was comparing that to
Oh,
the
yes.
oh,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was
Oh, yeah.
comparing
That
that
was
to,
a great scene. He really portrayed the, oh, sorry, one second. Oh, my dog is telling me he needs to go outside.
go
He has
outside.
a,
Well, you know what? We'll let you go here shortly, but
he has a bell he rings.
does he?
Yeah.
Look at that. Here's my
Oh,
dog.
cute cat.
Hi, kitty. You know what? Every time you come around here, I'm going to exploit you. But yeah, then my supervisor announced that she was off for a few days for COVID. Do you want to believe I held this? I worked through it over their heads.
Wow. Well, good for you.
I kept referring to myself as He-Man.
You have
No,
a
you
very
don't have to
strong
tell me what your
work ethic.
backs. I just wanted to share the fact that I was going around with a Jesse the Body Ventura pose. But my
Hold on one
parents.
second. I'll be right with you. Sorry, he's telling me he needs to go.
Okay.
I apologize, but he's okay. I'm coming.
Well, you know what? I am going to let you go so you can deal with your
Okay.
dog. But I was happy.
Any last anything else we need to cover before we end this?
Well, you know what? We are celebrating the 5-year anniversary of this underrated gem, the id, which features my guest today, Malcolm Matthews. Before I let you go, Malcolm, well, number one, do you have any charities that you want to plug on here?
Oh, thank you. Not at the moment. I should have prepared something for that. But there's a number that of charities that I work with and I volunteer with, but I don't want to single anyone out right now. But thank you
Okay.
for asking.
Okay, I always ask that. And number two, I would love a plug for my show if you don't mind.
Oh, sure. What would you like me to do?
Just state your name, say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Okay.
Yep.
Right now?
Yep, go for it.
Okay. Hi, this is actor Malcolm Matthews, and you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Thank you so much, Malcolm, for coming on the show today. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, if you got any new projects that you got coming up that you would love to promote, reach out. I'd be happy to have you back.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. I appreciate
Absolutely, absolutely. You have yourself a wonderful day, and you get
you.
that dog looked after.
He just needs a little bathroom break. He'll be all right.
We all do sometimes.
Yes, it's a necessity in life.
Absolutely.
All right, well, great talking to you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. God bless you.
Take care. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye-bye.